Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with the Duality Evolution Cup. I'm going to go ahead and run this thing and win the prize card, the Mclaren 720S GT3X, which is a great card. Unfortunately for us, some things to keep in mind. One is that despite winning the prize car, so far there are no stage 6s available for it, and it is not sharing it with a prior card that has which is the Mclaren 720S GT3 that has its own stage 6s, and they don't share, so they're not interchangeable. Not that many of us even have stage 6s for the other car either, so it's really irrelevant, but it's just something to keep in mind that even if you acquired the prize car, to see maxed ones running around the lobby means that they somehow got stage 6s when there are no stage 6s. There are two ways to get it. Obviously, one is to go to Parts Crate. Because it's a Purple Star car, you have to pay for them. But, you know, some people have money and they'll pay and get those stage 6s that way. And the rest of them got it by special measures, which we won't talk about, but it's not legal. So, bottom line is, it's still a good car even at stage 5 only. Another part to understand is, for many of the players, including myself with a second account that is played free all this time, we don't have these two cars. And when I did an assessment of my second account, I took a look at the cars that I need, which is both. The Fusions I have, which fortunately I have enough. And then I went to the stage 6s that I have for each car, and guess what? I have none for the Elva and 2 for the 765 LT. And I'll tell you up front, you're never going to make it through any Evolution Cup without basically maxed out cars, or at least close enough to be missing only the really weak stage 6s. And this particular Evolution Cup, based on what I'm being told by my crewmates who have maxed cars, it was easy with maxed cars, but the Elva needed to be really upgraded to make it through, and so did the 765 LT, which means if you're thinking of pulling the two cars, and right now it's day one, if you were going to do it, you're probably going to want to do it now, pull them right away so you have time to build it. But even if you have the Fusions, you're going to need a lot of bronze keys to get those stage 6s. And if you need them for both cars like I do on my second account, and you don't have at least 20,000, 30,000 bronze keys sitting around, you're probably not going to make it. That's just the reality of building cars in this game. Things are very random. A lot of keys per crate, and each crate doesn't give you much. So if you're short on Epic Fusions, you're short on stage 6s like I am, your chances of making it through the Evolution Cup starts to get slimmer and slimmer. In fact, after doing the calculations, I decided to skip the event on my second account. This saves me the gold keys I would have otherwise burned, which is, I have 110 on that account, and you could have burned 140 of them to get the two cars. Or you can only burn 20 and get the two cars. But you can't count on any of that. Once I even get the cars, I spend a lot of cash, which, unlike this account, I have a lot less cash on that account as well, and I'm trying to build it up. So, another reason not to burn it. So when you're looking at all these factors, Duality Cups are very resource intensive, and yes, some of these prize cards are really tempting, like this one. This is a good prize card. I really want it. I will get it on my main account, but my second account is going to have to make do without. This is kind of the reality of a paid player long term versus a free to play player with a newer account. Not that my second account's that new. It's still about 4.5 years, almost 5 years old, but even at that level, even though I have kind of stashed resources all this time, that account is simply not ready for a Duality Cup like this. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of experience, a little bit of other things, but bottom line is, even a very well, resource gathered and stored free-to-play account oftentimes cannot simply go into a Duality Cup and get the prize card. So you have to skip events. It's the unfortunate reality of playing this game free. Now, all that being said, let's go focus back on here. This cup, again, I put the 765 LT first. It is missing 2 stage 6s. neither of which I expect will have a huge impact on the overall performance of the car near the end here. Intake and turbos not in. The car is otherwise fully fusioned, fully maxed. I could max it out to the 7 point whatever that it requires, but I just want to run it without the two stage 6s just to see how close it comes. As you can see, at race 9, it's a 7.4 dyno, or I should say 7.4 runs versus a 7.8 opponent. So it's enough. I mean, can you get away with missing a different stage 6? Maybe, but you still have to realize that ultimately you have to make the time. That's the requirement. You have to be able to run the time that is needed to beat the target numbers. And based on what I've seen, missing any of the other stage 6s will make it a bit of a struggle. So turbo and intake, generally very weak stage 6s, generally are the ones that you can miss for Evolution Cups. And sometimes with some cars, you can miss maybe one more or, one less in some cases. But at least with this one, missing those two really didn't hurt it. Now, with these relays, it's a combination of both cars, and both cars are not running the same two stage 6s because, again, they're weak stage 6s for both of these cars, and therefore I'm pretty confident even without running them, it won't really hurt my chances for the Evolution Cup. But it makes the relays slightly more challenging depending on what you're trying to accomplish time-wise. Okay, so this relay here is actually considered challenging. Okay, which in the past I've always said challenging means easy. Easy means you just can't fail unless you don't try. And then hard is challenging in some cases, but usually not. And it's really extreme that's actually challenging. And then the extreme oftentimes is so extreme that you're not going to win anyway. But those are the kind of difficult. The difficulty ramps up kind of not in a linear way. It literally jumps up in difficulty as you get towards extreme. But challenging, not very challenging. Okay. So that finishes the first leg, just like that. 10 races. While we're talking about whether you should even be doing this cup, we've already finished the first 10 races. So let's move on to the Elva for the second 10. I put the Elva second. There's no particular reason I did it this way, but the Elva is a little bit quicker at stage 5 only. I just wanted to see if maybe for the second leg it will be easier for a car that is a little bit faster. It hasn't been the case, so that has not really worked out for me on this particular duality. At the end of the first leg, I needed at least 2 stage 6 for each car, strong ones, to make it through, and that doesn't even get you started on the Evolution Cup. You really need 4 or 5 of the stage 6s to make it through for the Evolution Cup. Okay, but not unexpected with the prize car on the end, and a very good prize car at that. I keep saying that because I really like this prize car. It is now, in my opinion, one of the best McLarens to come along, and if you acquire it, it's great to have. Sure, the F1's always going to be, in my book, the best McLaren to have because of the ridiculous amount of RP it makes and its capability to actually beat dyno and when tuned properly in slower lobbies and have lobby advantage. So it's a very good live racer, on top of the fact that it makes huge RP and you can swap with it all day long and make millions point of RP a season. So the F1, fully elite, fully maxed, is still, in my opinion, the best McLaren in the game. But I would put this prize car coming up as probably the second best. I mean, the amount of Evo it can gain with minimal upgrades is incredible. It's much like the Green Beast, the Bentley GT3, which everybody knows I love that car. So it is a very good car in that sense. Low performance point, high Evo. It's going to be relatively easy to drive, which also is a big plus for me. And it's just a great car. Part of the reason I never took to a lot of the electric cars is not that they're not good, is that they're very sensitive to the launch points. And when you're racing them in live racing, a sensitive launch point car could really ruin your runs, and that's no fun. I don't like to miss a launch and kind of, have the car bog on me or something and run 2-3 tenths slower, which generally would kill me in a run. So that is why I haven't been taken to certain cars because of that. So my opinion, a really good car should be both easy to drive in the game, and let's be honest, it doesn't take a lot of talent to drive in the game, but still, easy versus hard it makes that the playing of the game more or less enjoyable. Okay, I don't need more stress when I'm playing a video game, especially one that isn't supposed to be difficult like this one. So you want the easy to drive cars that win easily, match makes, in a very good way to make things in your favor, all those kind of factors. And this McLaren looks like it's going to do all that. So that is why I like it. All right. I'm thinking I am just cruising along here. That's kind of close, but I made it. There might be one challenge coming up where I may have to retune if it gets any closer than that. We'll see. Because we're about 3 races away from the end already. So a lot of rambling on my part. Basically, excited about doing this one. That's why I'm really rushing my way through this thing, which is unlike me. Normally I take a few days before I try to finish any of these events. I don't rush through them. But this prize car, I really want to get my hands on it so I could build it and then test it in live and, have some fun with it. It's always exciting to get a new car. That's the only reason I keep playing the game, is collecting new stuff. That's what this game is all about, collecting new stuff. New cars, new parts, parts for new cars with new parts. Yeah, it's all about collecting stuff. And, the more stuff you have, the happier you are in this game. And, most people spend money on this game for stuff, right? Digital stuff that you'll never be able to take with you if you had to go out somewhere or if your account disappears. But in the meantime, it gives me joy, and therefore I'm here grinding away for more stuff. This stuff, that stuff, all this digital stuff, all this. That's what we're here for. Okay. All right, 2 races to go. Again, intake turbo not in there. Doesn't seem to be hurting me too much. Nothing is coming up as super difficult. Okay, here we go. Speed trap. Boom, 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 boom. 5, 6, 7. Made it? Yes. All right. Woo, that was close. Ooh, I barely made that. All right. So if I was struggling a little more, I probably would lower the grip on the tire. That's your typical strategy for speed traps. Cars that normally run 0-100, put it to 53-47, and you should be able to make it through much easier for speed traps. For sprints, usually what I always tell people is the power gear, the gear that does the fastest acceleration, which is usually 2nd or 3rd gear for most cars, some 4th gear. You make that gear end at the 100 mile per hour, and then you get to that gear quick and hit the nitrous, and you usually get through those sprints as well. That's the standard strategy for those kind of things. And driving the car, if you're ever in doubt of whether you're shifting properly, and believe me, shifting properly makes a big difference, I would suggest you to look up videos from guys like Archidere, Zoocar. They do max shift tunes, okay? So those cars are fully maxed, but the shift patterns are definitely close to what you need. Even without a fully maxed car, you may have to adjust how quickly you shift from 1st to 2nd, but those shift patterns will always come in handy to know, because it will help you get a little better time. And when it's a close race, every little bit counts. And this is not a close race. I mean, this is supposed to be a hard race, but as you can see, breeze right through it. And that's all she wrote. We went through the Evolution Cup basically non-stop. No need to tune, no need to switch. But then again, my cars are basically maxed, missing turbo and intake stage 6s only. At full Evo tune. There are no trick tunes here. You tune it to the highest Evo, you drive it with the shift pattern. And I don't think I used the right shift pattern, so please don't follow mine. I just used what I thought was the ship pattern. It ran pretty close to the dyno, so I'm not complaining. And look at this beast. I mean, this thing, I like this thing because it just looks good. You know, the Bentley's a cool car, but the Bentley's, it's a little strange looking, seeing a luxury Bentley with all the race livery and wing and everything. A McLaren like this with wing, I mean, the wing works well for this. Oh, does the wing move? It doesn't move. No, I was hoping the wing would move, but nope. But I mean, this is a cool looking car. It is a very good car, like I said, and I have Fusions for it because it's a McLaren, and we get a lot of McLaren Fusions over the years of playing. So I'm very happy that I acquired this car. I'm going to go ahead and start building it. I'll give you guys probably an update soon about my final feelings on this car and any live tune that I'm using or I would recommend to you guys for this car. But definitely a great car. On a separate note, the next video that's going to be coming up will be about the race pass prize cars, and that's going to be a great video for you guys because this season we got some good cars in there, and they're free race pass cars. So that's a little preview about that. In any case, that is that with this video. Thank you for joining me for finishing the Evolution Cup and winning the 720S GT3X. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, make them in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you like my videos and you would like to get notifications when I put up new videos, subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications when these videos pop up on my channel. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.